My name is Tino Struckmann. I'm a military historian, and I want to show you one of the most impressive fortified lines I've ever seen, the Ostwall in Poland. In 1934, Adolf Hitler directed funds, pioneer battalions, and civilian construction crews to begin construction of the Ostwall, a series of border fortifications facing Poland. They were to be a vast defensive line with a series of large reinforced concrete bunkers complemented by a huge network of underground tunnels. On January 29, 1945, the Russian offensive finally struck, and after 3 days of the fiercest fighting of the war, the line broke. However, not without taking a very heavy toll on the Red Army. Many of the forts were blown up during the fighting or after, yet many still remains today, and they are an impressive sight, especially the tunnels underneath. Let me show you. I'm back here at the East Wall because I think it is one of the most fascinating constructed fortified bunker lines of modern history. Now, down this way for some 100 kilometers that way and all the way up this way, you have lines of bunkers with fortified positions, interlocking fields of fire, steel domes, 50 tons of steel domes. Artillery positions were supposed to have been installed behind the line. However, the start of World War II with the German invasion of Poland sort of negated that, and the line was somewhat abandoned until the Russians started approaching from the east in 1944. However, behind camera is Poland proper. Behind me is Germany proper. And this line was built specifically to stop and deflect a Polish expected attack on Germany in the mid to late 30s. After Germany had annexed Czechoslovakia and Poland came next, with the German invasion of Poland, there's no more reason to fortify a line in advance of Berlin and Germany proper. With this bunker line, all construction was halted until the Russians started heading straight through here. Not far from here, their advance on Berlin was straight as an arrowhead, and it came through here on the eastern wall. Now, there are dots of bunkers and positions for the 100 kilometers, all the way from almost Lower Silesia and all the way up to the coast. Many of them interlocking, you can see them from point to point. And over the next few days, I'm going to try to visit some of these, of this forgotten bunker line, because I want to show them to you while they're still here. You never know. These things have a tendency of being destroyed or sinking, or maybe UFOs pick them up. Don't know. But they do disappear, just like their steel domes. But most of them are now somewhat safe. But I want to show them. I want to go from one end to the other end and pick from point to point and just show you what kind of a line it was. However, I am going to skip the bunkers that I already showed you in the first 6 episodes. So here goes. And an integral part in the defense in this fortified region is the waterways. The waterways were used, redirection of the water was used big time in order to create funnels of defensive positions that would funnel an attacker into a heavily defended area. So seeing this bunker should be right around the corner near a lake is a good sign. And a lot of these bridges were built to retract, if you saw in one of the episodes. This one, for some reason, is closed. It could very well be a World War II construction. In fact, certainly the locking mechanism there is identical to what I've seen. And here's the bunker, right on the waterways. I actually thought I had to go climb inside the forest. Wow. Here is okay. Here's one of the big bunkers that is literally sitting on the waterway. I have not seen this before. That also means this bridge was built in the late 30s as part of a fortified position. And that's why we're not driving over it. We'll walk over it. Here are one of the bunkers. Yay! Some of them are accessible and some of them are not. That is just going to be the fact of this chase. This was literally sitting on here, so I wonder if this was not a fighting position, but this was to regulate the waterways so they could flood the fields and regulate that from in here. And it almost must be for the waterways. There's no fighting positions. There's nothing locked up here. It must be a hub to control waterways. And that means that down here somewhere, there is a protective bunker, something to defend this particular position. Now, they're not going to put a big lump of cement down there in the middle of the waterway that can't be defended, so they must have put something around here to protect it. And that is what makes this region so fascinating. You have 100 kilometers full of bunkers and protective positions, defensive positions, individuals, tunnels underneath, and apparently helicopters above head. Just a great place to visit. And you're not even that far from the German border and Berlin, so it's close, it's convenient, it's very inexpensive. For World War II exploration, a lot of things took place here, and it's just a really cool place to visit. And I keep seeing this hill here, imagining that all these trees at the time would be gone, so there would be a full field of fire and vision. I have the thought, something's telling me there's something in here, but I don't see it. There must be something in here. Something must have protected that water lock. Go a little further and circle back through the forest. So I doubled back a little bit and wanted to crawl in the woods here because I know what's in here. It must be. And these things are huge. What's this? A sea cement. Haha! I knew it had to be here. Whatever it is, but there it is. Yes! Here is the protective position for the waterways. And I think it's been covered up quite a bit. This bit of water in there. It's right next to the little lake here, so I would almost be surprised if it wasn't flooded. Also remember, a lot of these were blown up very, very well. And FYI, they are a bit slippery. Okay. Now again, there probably have been one or two steel domes for the machine guns, maybe an observation dome as well. They were all removed by scrappers post-war. I see an entrance, and here was a steel plate for a machine gun or an anti-tank cannon protecting down this lane. Now I'm standing on the roof of it. Another close defensive position over there. Yeah, I would imagine there would have been domes somewhere, but I really can't tell where. We'll go down to the front, see if we can get in. Give an idea of the layout. The bunker is there. And here's a little dip in earth. I'm guessing this is where the turret, the dome, used to be, that had then been removed and dirt and stuff was thrown in, and that's why there's a little dip. That is my hunch. Let's try to go inside, see if I am correct on that. Oh, what have we here? We have an emergency exit or a way in. And we have another. There would have been ventilation, possibly. Actually, there's something around wall down there. It could also have been. Now remember, we also had flamethrowers and auto mortars here. Or at least on a lot of these. I don't know if there were in this particular one. Oh, here it is. Look at that big puppy. There you go. There's one of the east wall's best. And what I like about it is that it's open. So let's see how flooded it is. I'll do many dumb things, but I'm not going to go swim in it. Well, maybe. Oh, perfect. This is one of the entrance doors, and this is where the anti-tank cannon was. And I'm going to crawl in here. I'll tell you why. Because a lot of these positions had a very large dip right by the entrance, and you've probably seen some of the other episodes I've done on the east wall. If you hadn't, you may want to, which makes this full of water. Oh well. And that's why I wanted to go in through a door where I knew there was not going to be a massive drop at the end. A lot of the attachments are still here. Oh, look at this. A lot of the original attachments. And the wood and the hooks, walls, possibly for communications. Oh, that's great to see. All right. Oh, wow. That's a big puppy dog, isn't it? All right. Let's go here first. Nice and cool. Electrical ducts. So this is probably where the would be a generator in here. Lots of piping leading to this. Still see the wood in the walls. Could have been a water or fuel tank here. And there's been some fire going on for this. Look at this. Here in the wall you have all these attachments. All these mountings that are still here. That's very, very cool. That's very cool. Probably ventilation pipe. This could also have been for ventilation, since that was a big deal. And this is the room, I think, that has a hole over it. No, it's not. But there are two pipes. And third. And that's the emergency exit, which you can actually kind of see. If we were locked in here by detonation out front, or we were blocked in, there would be a door here, you'd open that, and then it will be filled up with sand. We'll scoop all the sand in here and then crawl out. And that system's been used for a long time. It's been used before and been used after in some of the Cold War bunkers. Because by piling the sand into the hole and on top, you have plants and grass up there, and no one from the outside can find it. And it's still easy for you to get out of it because it is still just sand. And I know some of the soldiers that were stationed in Denmark, that was their actual training regime for their bunker, to scoop up and climb out the emergency exit and then clean up the bunker afterwards. That's one of the accounts of the German soldiers from there. Lots of attachments on the walls. That's very cool to see. I wonder if we're going to be lucky enough to find a little writing. We shall see. outside, does it? Now, the next room. Again, attachments. Attachments everywhere. This is very, very cool. There are hooks and everything on the walls. Awesome stuff. It would be fun to find some sort of writing. Alright, well, something happened here. I don't know, the corrosion, it almost looks like it's corrosion. Which the metal is not, yeah, some sort of trauma must have happened to the building here. This doesn't look right. Ooh, that was a turret. This was the entrance. There used to be a firing position here that's been blocked off, I would imagine. More attachments, more walls. No writing, but it is very wet in here. Although I will say, compared to the fact that we're right next to a little lake, it is not even remotely as wet as I thought it was. Hello, what's that? Okay, that I have not seen before. That's new. And you see here, this goes down for several meters as a drop. A little moat inside here. And that's why I did not want to go into the front door. And here again, here's another one by the other gate of the door. No idea how deep this is or how much dirt there's in there. See if we can get to that room from the other side, because I'm not venturing through that water. But there again, it's one of these sloping. Huh. Very cool. A little bit of bent metal there. I am a little excited to go in there. I don't really know what's in there. Hee hee. Look behind me. Okay, yeah, there's some trauma going on with this building. This is not just time. And fighting was going on in these and over these and for these. Although since I don't see any battle damage on the outside, but I see all this damage on the inside, it could have been a post-war Russian attempt at demolition, or even a during the war attempt at demolition. Yeah, here used to be the dome that has been removed. Well, actually, now that I'm saying that, lots of bent metal. I actually don't see any circular sides of what would be the well for a dome. Doesn't mean it wasn't here. Oh, look outside. And cabling up there. And lots of cabling. Huh. I almost never see this was cabling. It's interesting, somebody actually, this was cracked, probably from an explosion, and somebody tried to insulate it. Somebody actually insulated these post-war. Very A for effort, I wonder why. Other than, of course, to keep it nice and dry for me. Let's see. damage on the big hinges. This must have been blown. My other option was there was some piece of metal that somebody really wanted to pry out, but it must have been blown. Alright, firing position. And another reason why you need to watch out when you go into these is there are sudden changes in elevation. But there's no second floor. I would imagine sewage bathroom. It could be. I can imagine there'll be a water tank here on that, possibly. Ventilation, attachments, firing position, seating outside. We're seeing a staircase outside here. So that's another entrance, which I wonder if there's a pit in there as well. We'll have a look from the outside. Woods. It looks like it used to be a desk or a piece of some machinery. A lot of ceramic. I see a lot of ceramic in these. It could have been the sink. It could have been a bathroom. It could have been a piece of a toilet. Could have been their coffee pot. All right. Okay. I'm surprised I can't see any writing anywhere. I mean, the walls in here are not that bad. There really should have been something somewhere. Lots of wood dolls. It's actually in quite good shape. Yeah, except for the water damage. Full attachments and footprints, because I guess locals get drunk and stupid. But there's no writing. There's no writing anywhere. That's very, very strange. Oops. Mystery part. Okay, so this is where it looked like it was flooded, and it wasn't. This is pointing down in the ground. This is alright, I have no idea what this is. I have no idea for what reason you would go down unless there's a tunnel connection. You could walk down and then into the well of a dome, but it would take some excavation to figure that out. And clearly this was demolished. It's very, very interesting. Yeah, a little bit of damage on the doors. What's left of them. The big hinges, the doors were just cut off by scrappers. 4 hinges. So, I don't know what this position was. That would be fun to find out. A lot of attachments on the walls again. I actually see more attachment on the walls here than I've seen in any of the others. Very, very cool. And a little, another emergency exit. This can't be. An emergency exit is usually underground. This is clearly not underground. It is literally level with the ground. But it must be because there's hinges. It cannot be a fighting position. No grooves there for separating walls or stone. Interesting. Once again, not a single word on the walls. Lots and lots of attachments. This will be fun to find out what this was, besides the obvious what it is. Alright, so anti-tank cannon here, or heavy machine gun. I don't see anything on the ground. Has all been ruined to give me an indication of what it was. So that direction of fire, and the bridge is this direction to the left. What a nice little east wall bunker. All right, out here in the summer rain. I'm curious. Let's see. It is interesting because, look at this. Here it should come to an end. And you have a little mound. There are no tunnels. There cannot be tunnels here. I've not seen. This is too small to be connected to the big tunnels that we've been in. And the layout will dig in a tunnel here with a waterway beyond those trees. That makes no sense. There must have been. There must have been. So there was another well here. Here's another dip in the ground. It's hard to see for the plants. This was what was filled up inside. So here would have been a dome. Panzerwerk 657 is a little special because it was built already in 1934, making one of the oldest bunkers on the east wall. We're down in the southern region in the Scarpa commune, where there was also constructed quite a few hydrotechnical structures, drain dams, tactical bridges, all designed to dam up the water and flood the vast areas. 657 had two different domes, a smaller observation dome and a larger three-quarter tower, a 2P7 with sliding locks and viewing slits. It was armed with an MG08. It had a total weight of 37 tons. Both of these were removed after the war by scrappers, so whether they were damaged in the finding is impossible to say at this point. There were also the two emergency exits and the rear that was also covered by an MG08. It was becrewed by about 30 or so soldiers. Considering it's hiding in there, you do have to look a little bit sometimes and get a good GPS reading. And down there's the beginning of the waterway. The east wall is a lot of fun because you can explore it on your own and you have almost an unlimited amount of bunkers to see. But make notes, make GPS points. Ping where you find them or where they are, where you need to go look, because some of them are hidden really well by vegetation. Definitely worth a visit. On to the next. Panzerwerk 677 was constructed in 1937 in order to fill a gap of about 4 kilometers between Panzerwerk 671 and 691. It's known as an Ersatz B1 Kleinwerk. That should give you some idea. It's a little special because it was built at a time of quite tight budgets, so it's smaller and simpler than many of the others. I love it when my GPS tells me you have arrived, and I'm looking around and this is what I'm seeing. But I am on top of the hill and I see it over there waiting for me. Yes. And of course the bunkers were designed to support one another, but what a perfect place for a fighting position. On a slight hilltop overlooking the fields in every direction. And what a beautiful landscape this truly is. You can see everywhere from around here. Absolutely awesome. So, let's see what we got. Oh, you can see absolutely everything around here. Beautiful position. Like pearls on a string, these are just laid out for some 100 kilometers. Well, there's the remains of a steel dome. Can't really argue that. Well, this is interesting because when this was made, it was made with the vision ports all around, but it was built into a secure back face here, so there will only be firing positions in one direction. And there's the well I was looking for in the other bunker. And you actually see the attachment clamp right there. And one right there. And this is what the dome would have looked like all the way around. But of course, it wouldn't have vision in this direction. Which is a gorgeous view, I mean. However, it was upgraded in 1944, where it received a collar around the back of the dome. This protected that part from scrappers, and it's now possible for us to see the fighting ports on the dome. The 35P8 dome was smaller than the others and only weighed 28 tons. I don't know why they would. It's not even round. It has little edges. But it is a good field of vision. And you can still see slight remnants of the green paint on there. Just wonder why, when they had the steel dome that will give you a full 360 field of fire and view, they would give it a, well, for lack of better words, a neck cone. And down here is the entrance. And once you get in, I have a better idea of what to look for above ground. So let's see if we can get in here. Not the biggest position in the world, but from above ground, not much sticks out, and sometimes you are really surprised once you get in as to what you actually find. Some of them are very, very large, and some of it's probably obscured by that tree. Main entrance, another entrance, covered by a machine gun. and above there would be the dome. I wonder if there's a connection to another dome. All right, get me the vegetation out the damn way. Alright. So, now this is pretty much it. Have that. And then you have the machine gun position there. And obviously, this mound dug up around me here was not there. Because of course that would completely ruin the field of fire and vision from here. I think we should enter. The door's open. It would be rude not to. Wouldn't it? Okay. Porcelain pieces. Kitchenware. Machine gun position. And most notably, there's no life-threatening moat. But here's another closer defensive position. More ceramic. Very interesting. Oh, somebody named it. Okay, we have a large room with an emergency exit and a well of red brick. This I've never seen before. That must be the emergency exit, but red brick? I'm afraid I have to go in there and have a look. That's the inside of the defensive position, of course. And two entrances. Attachments on the walls again. And again, the walls are in pretty good condition, but no writing on them. Again. Well, once upon a time, there was a level. So this is where the dome was. Somebody put a very heavy piece of metal there, thank you. And this is the dome well. Not much to see in there, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see quite a few of those. Nuts over the door. A lot smaller hinges if you look at these hinges compared to the other ones. But of course, nobody was going to be expected to come through the dome door. If anybody was going to come in here, they were going to come through the doors over there. And in here, you have the defensive position. There would have been a machine gun in here. Straightforward, there's a machine gun in here, right in front of that heavy machine gun. And you see the mounts on the floor still remain. And this is what you would be seeing. Well, not really, you would be seeing a lot more than this, but we would have to go do the mow the lawn first. So I have the screws over the heavy steel plate that would have been mounted there, but of course that disappeared. And a small defensive position just for the entrance. And a few attachments above. No writing. I'm wondering if these were painted over, reused in some way. And the Russians just painted them over, or the Polish did. I guess somebody had a birdie. There's the bird. That changed his mind right there when he saw me. Poor guy. That's an interesting pipe running through there. I have no idea why there would be a pipe. There is some agreement amongst historians later that somebody have tried to restore this bunker inside and out by painting it over. Unfortunately, this may have covered any original wartime inscriptions. Just a small little position with a few guns and a very interesting emergency exit I want to have a look at. Now, this is where I'm on top of the bunker, and I know there'll be a hole right here, and there is. Now, it is an emergency exit. Probably one of the better preserved emergency exits. I just have not ever seen half the well done in red brick before. That's very, very neat. So this would have been full of sand. When they got stuck in there, they could dig their way out of here. And on top was the dome. Probably not that many people even stationed in here. But again, just a reminder to those of you guys who like to do these things, who watch and walk here. You have so much tall grass everywhere. You don't see this, you will get yourself hurt. To me, there's nothing more fun than battlefield excavation, exploration of old fighting positions and bunkers. But do take care, do be careful. There's a lot of holes and traps, and if you get into the whole deeper tunnels, well, don't go alone, and be aware of oxygen and other issues. Safety first. And I know, especially when we're young and stupid, now I'm just old and stupid, lack of oxygen is not one of those things. It happens in the tunnels, especially the deep, long tunnels. You get into situations where there's just no oxygen, and you will pass out before you register that there's no oxygen, and then you will be dead. So you want to bring measuring instruments. If there's bad air, toxic air, emergency oxygen, you can buy them online for $30, $40. That'll give you 300-400 breaths of oxygen. It'll get you out. Just, if you're really gonna do it, then do it right and then be safe. And don't do it the way I do it. And then, just in the wall of standards, sort of in the middle of a small village here, you find another one. And this is one of the few existing domes with 7 ports, I believe. But now, one thing I know about this place is it is for sale. Have not met with the gentleman yet, so I don't know how much he wants for it, but it's still going to be cheaper than a house by the beach. It's probably going to be cheaper than most houses anywhere. And there's a whole bunker and fort underneath here as well. And I will absolutely respect this gentleman by not trespassing or droning his property. How much of a crowdfunding campaign do we need to buy a Ostwall fort? It'll be a great museum and location for everything we want to do, but I think we're looking at somewhere between $80,000 and $200-some thousand. Still cheaper than a parking space in Santa Monica. Hi, my name is Tino Struckmann, and this is my YouTube channel. I hope you enjoy history and military history as much as I love bringing it to you. And if you want to see more of the photos and documents I've used for these episodes, documentation, so on, you can go to lostbattlefields.com. And if you feel like helping me out traveling around the world to some of these far-flung locations like Vanno and Brown's first test stand behind me, or Deepna's nuclear reactor down there, or the Matador line over there, you can donate on PayPal, protection@serviceint.com. It'll be right here, and it is also on lostbattlefields.com. You absolutely don't have to, but I appreciate any help, and I love all you guys for all the support you've shown me, because history is important. We all know that, and I'm going to bring it to you.